Hi, I'm Rob Corliss, culinary consultant and development chef for the Almond Board of California. I've had the privilege of working with the Almond Board of California since 2016. And today, we're excited to share with you 3 of the 5 recipes that we created specifically for our IFT. These are a whipped almond berry cheesecake spread, a golden tepache beverage, and a really fun ramen almond snack mix. The 2 additional recipes you can find on almonds.com, and those recipes that we also created for IFT are a Mediterranean almond wafer. This is a really fun, thin, crispy, crunchy wafer that showcases 3 almond forms, and it's meant to be, like a really fresh change from your typical snack bar, biscuit, or wafer format that you see on the market today. The other recipe are tangerine plum almonds. And these are really refreshingly bright and citrusy, whole flavored almonds. Then they're loaded with sophisticated Japanese inspired flavors. And all 5 of the recipes that we created for IFT really address evolving consumer demands and push the boundaries of culinary development. And I want you to think of the recipes as benchtop prototypes. So use them as is, or you can feel free to customize and make tweaks as you see, change out ingredients, and really personalize that and make it a springboard for your ideation and innovation. And our goal is to always provide inspiration for your product development and demonstrate the versatility of California almonds through an array of almond forms, textures, current trend applications, really crafting something that's truly unique. And as you may know, almonds come in 15 different forms, and we wanted to showcase multiple forms and creative applications in our IFT snacks. And all of the prototypes really hit a sweet spot for IFT. They're all rooted in a mainstream consumer connection with the addition of an emerging flavor trend or a technique. So each recipe really provides that growth platform for your future snack development. And this year we are really bringing these to life through this virtual culinary demonstration. So you can experience firsthand what you would have had with that one-on-one dialogue with us if you would have came to our booth at IFT. And with that said, we want to welcome you into our kitchen. So let's get started on our 3 recipes. We'd like to show you how to prepare the whipped almond berry cheesecake spread. But first we wanted to share the inspiration behind the recipe. So we've been seeing steady growth of almond butter and beautiful innovation with almond cheese and almost hummus type offerings. And according to Innova Market Insights Global New Products Report, spreads using almonds had increased almost 26% in 2019. So that led us to think, what were the next areas of exploration for that smooth, spreadable almond formats? Perhaps venturing into naturally sweet, as savory had been the focus of so many new product launches that we are seeing. And our ideation morphed into taking similar techniques to craft almond cheese, but developing that into an almond spread that would mimic the delicious qualities of a baked cheesecake. And we also want to complement the almond flavor by incorporating refreshing fruit notes and natural color for immediate consumer connection with a strong visual eye appeal, which helps to drive the purchase intent. So through this development, we netted out with what we'll demonstrate to you now. Let's prepare our recipe. So we're showcasing 2 almond forms, whole blanched almonds and unsweetened almond milk. You'll notice, just by the virtue of what we have set up here, very simplistic ingredients, high quality, easy to put together. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we have our whole blanched almonds. We want to soak those in warm water. You can use filtered tap water for that. We use warm water and you can soak those, which are replicated here. You can put this in the refrigerator. We suggest soak at least 24 hours. You go 36 hours. So step 1 is whole blanched almonds, soak in warm filtered tap water in the refrigerator 24 to 36 hours. And then the next stage from that, what we replicated here, is you're going to take those soaked almonds, we're going to drain those. You want to rinse those in cold water, then pat those dry because we don't want the extra liquid in when we make the puree. And the reason that we're soaking those almonds is we want that to soften up just a little bit more. So when we're putting those in the Robaku, that it gets even a creamier texture to really replicate that cheesecake spread, which is the ultimate goal that we're going for. So we've soaked the almonds. Now we've drained and rinsed them, patted them dry. So the first step, we're going to put those into Robaku. And then we're going to add a little bit of coconut oil. You can add other oils if you want to use, but the reason I like this, because you see in its natural state, it's the solidified form, which I think really helps the overall texture that we're going for with this almond spread. So we're going to add that into there. And then we're going to puree this until it gets like a smooth paste. This could be approximately 12-15 minutes. We're just going to give this a few buzzes here so you can get the idea, but we won't puree it the whole length of time just for the demo purposes. Again, we want to get this really smooth. You can take a spatula, work down the sides as you go along with this. So we're going to take the lid off so you can see down, but you can push down the sides as you go. But what you're looking for, you can see here and above, this is the paste. So in 12 to 15 minutes, every now and then, spatula push down the sides. You're going to puree those almonds with a little bit of coconut oil. You're going to come up with this really smooth, beautiful paste. And that's the step one that you're looking for. So our next step, so let's again assume that that's already pureed to smooth for time purposes. And the next step, we're going to add a real high quality raspberry puree. Now, if you wanted to change this up, you could add just about any flavor of fruit that you could imagine. You could look at on-trend fruit flavors like dark cherry is big right now. You could do blueberry, blood orange would be wonderful in this. Black raspberry, you could do seasonal or occasional takes on different flavors. We selected raspberry because we see that as a really high trending ingredient right now. So we had the raspberry puree. Next, we're going to add freeze-dried whole raspberries to this. And what we like about this is, one, they're going to add a burst of bright color to it that the puree doesn't, but also that freeze-dried quality, that dry quality, adds a touch of like that acidity to it, which is really going to create some more character in the spread. And then our last two ingredients, we're going to add almond extract. Now the almond extract, the reason we use this is really to give a extra boost of almond. We want to amplify that almond flavor in our cheesecake spread, so we're adding just a touch of the almond extract. Our next ingredient that we're showcasing, remember our two almond forms, is unsweetened almond milk. Now the almond milk, what that lends in this recipe, it's beautiful. It adds that great texture, because without that, you'd be adding oils and other things that we didn't want to do for the cheesecake. So that almond milk allows us, one, to bring up that almond flavor more, but also it's going to provide a great viscosity to the overall texture of the spread. So from this, then it's as simply as we're going to take this, start to puree it again. This could be another 5, 10, even 15 minutes depending on your equipment, ingredients that you're using, till it gets a smooth texture. So let's give a few pulses so you can see what this looks like. Now this, again, this would be getting really smooth. So what we want to do, I brought this up, this would be the final product of this. So this is the net result. If we were to take all that time and blend that through, you're coming up with this beautiful spreadable cheesecake inspired almond spread. You notice the natural color hues to this. What I also like using the dehydrated raspberries, you get small flecks of the raspberry seeds, which I think speaks to the authenticity of the spread and the naturalness and wholesomeness to it. And again, you can see by incorporating those whole blanched almonds and that almond milk really allows us to get that velvety smooth baked cheesecake texture. So this is an example, our hero plate. You can see we talked about before the endless applications. You can enjoy the spread as is on its own. It's delightful. You could spread it on almond wafers. We have a little bit here on a almond chocolate bar. It'd be great inside, like a filling inside truffles as a dip. You could spread on whole fruits. Put on cinnamon toast or a cinnamon raisin bagel. It's endless what you could put, even a spread inside a bar, biscuit, or a snack wafer. So that is how we prepare the whipped almond berry cheesecake spread. The trends in almond innovation that the whipped almond berry cheesecake spread taps into are: the spread delivers wholesome, feel-good food and taps into the consumer desire for free-from products. It's plant-based and gluten-free. It's clean label featuring recognizable ingredients. Berries, especially raspberry, are a trending flavor and ingredient in product development. Overall, there are just a few ingredients in the recipe, which translates to less ingredients equals high quality. The spread introduces the next evolution of almond cheese, building off that savory success with a new naturally sweet application. This innovation provides a new snack avenues for almonds with a sweet whipped spread to replicate a baked cheesecake texture and flavor. This delivers a future-forward almond snack with endless applications, used as a spread, as a dip, as an ingredient in a bar, as a filling in a chocolate bite or truffle, as a snack, or as a healthful treat. Finally, it provides a multi-purpose base, switching out the raspberry for other fruit flavors, from which manufacturers can add signature and/or seasonal flavors to create product lines and extensions. Let's show you how to make the golden almond tepache. But first, we wanted to share the inspiration on where this recipe came from. We know that almond milk and plant-based beverages continue to flourish and grow. According to Innova Market Insights Global New Products Report, dairy had a 19% increase in almond product introductions in 2019. We've also been tracking the growth and appeal of fermented beverages, and we're intrigued by introducing almond milk to create a cross-category drink. Tepache caught our eye as a forward, trending fermented pineapple beverage and a shift from all the kombucha introductions. We wanted to craft a beverage that was more approachable than straightforward fermented drinks. Almond milk is the perfect blank canvas to carry trending flavors, and this beverage merges the popular fermented tepache with passion fruit and a hint of turmeric. We also wanted to create a memorable premium almond milk beverage and demonstrate that lightness can be craveable, as next-gen beverages are light, refreshing, and bright. Let's prepare our recipe. So for the golden almond tepache, we're going to be showcasing unsweetened almond milk. But first, let's show you how to make the tepache. The tepache, if you don't know, is a fermented pineapple beverage. So it's a very simple ingredient, straightforward. We have hot water. You can use hot filter or tap water. The key is you just don't want it boiling because that can inhibit the fermentation process. So to that hot water, we're going to add our light brown sugar. And what you want to do here, all we're going to do, we're going to stir that up so the sugar is dissolved in the water. And then from there, we're going to add whole cinnamon stick and whole cloves. These are classic flavorings for a tepache. Then our next step is fresh pineapple. And this is where that story food comes back in. We all know when you craft products with almonds, there's quite a story that you can tell there. Well, this will amplify that because with the pineapple, we're going to be using primarily all of the pineapple, the rind, the core, to make the fermented beverage. So the ingredients which are usually discarded are going to be actually used to make the tepache. So for this, we're going to start by removing the crown. The crown, you can discard that. Same with the bottom of the pineapple. Now from here, we're going to cut the rind or the peel. You want to cut inside the eyes, and you're going to put the peel into that liquid with our hot water, the cinnamon stick, and the clove. So I think this is just, again, a beautiful way to craft a story with your foods to pair with the almonds, that we're using all these ingredients of the pineapple. So now the next step, we have the peel in there. We're just going to cut this down, and we're going to take out the core because we want to keep the meat that we're going to use for later in the recipe. So we're going to actually place the core into that hot water as well. Okay. And we'll just do these other two pieces quick. And I love this too. This is a great pineapple you can smell too. It's going to add the aromatics because, you know, tropical flavors are a big trend that we're seeing in beverages right now. So for this, all you're going to do then, we're going to take this, we're going to cut the pineapple meat, and for purposes, I already have some already cut, but we're going to save that when we make the tepache flavor just at the end. So to finish this off, let me slide this over a touch. We have our hot water, cinnamon stick, clove, pineapple peel, and core. What you're going to do is you're going to cover that. You can use cheesecloth, or in this case, we're using a towel. If you use a towel, make sure you leave a little bit of spot the air can get into there so it can ferment. And you're going to leave that on a counter, room temperature in your kitchen. It's going to take approximately 2 to 3 days. Just keep an eye on it. It's going to depend on the ripeness of the pineapple and the temperature in your kitchen. Now for that stage, we sped it up, and we're going to show you what it looks like here when it's fully fermented. If you see looking into this, you'll notice the bubbles, a little bit of foam on the top. That's what you want to look for in that process. It also, I wish you could smell this, it goes from the pineapple flavor to more, it's picking up now fermented aromatics. And you also see the color of that begins, the liquid itself begins to get a little bit murky. So you're looking for those bubbles. Now the next stage is you would skim off the bubbles on the top and any of the foam. Then we'll strain that through a fine mesh strainer. You can use a fine chinois. Discard any of the solids. We want to keep the liquid, and that's what we have here. Let me move this just a little bit for you. So this liquid would represent the tepache after we've skimmed it and strained it. Now from here, we're ready to do our final process with the almond milk. And what we love about this is we're combining a prebiotic, the almond, with a probiotic, the tepache. We're really making a cross-category beverage, because that's another trend we're really seeing. You see it over the past years, but it's continued to evolve, just cross-category, multifunctional beverages that really have that health and wellness notes to it. So from here, it's as simple as we're going to add our unsweetened almond milk. And remember the pineapple that we had earlier. We're going to add the pineapple meat to that. Okay. And then a pinch of turmeric. We all know the benefits of turmeric, and that continues year after year to see the dominant ingredient that's on trend. And then the beautiful, just great floral notes, the passion fruit. So we're going to add our passion fruit puree. This is a high quality passion fruit puree. And what I love about this, you know, tepache is great at its own. We actually lowered the sugar that original tepache would have because we flavor it with the passion fruit and pineapple. When you take tepache and you combine floral and tropical notes of the pineapple and the passion fruit, and then add in that turmeric with the almond milk really blends those together. And I think that's what takes it to the next level and makes a signature beverage. Now from here, it's as simple as we'll just do this quick because we don't want to You're going to puree that. Now I just did it quick for our demo purposes, but you're going to puree that till you want it to get silky smooth. And then I wanted to show you the next stage of that then. So this is the final. So if we would have taken the time to let that puree, you can use an industrial burr mixer or a blender for that. This is what you come up with. You want that silky smooth mixture of the golden almond tepache, and then simply again, we're going to take this mix, strain it through a fine mesh strainer, and then that's what we have here. So our hero plate, or in this case a glass, this is the golden almond tepache. We also have a carafe of it. The beauty of this, if you notice first away, right, we eat with our eyes. Same pertains to beverages as well. That beautiful golden yellow color almost has like a creaminess quality to it as well from the almond milk and how we blended and merged that with all the ingredients. This is really, we feel, especially to the people that have tasted this already, everyone's complimented on it, that it's a just really light, refreshing beverage, and it's something that's easy sipping that people noted that you could drink it any time of day. So with that, I think we've created for you another way you can take a beverage to the next level using almond milk as the showcase star there, and that's how to prepare the Golden Almond Tepache. The trends in almond innovation that the Golden Almond Tepache taps into are: the beverage delivers both prebiotic properties, the almonds, and probiotic properties, the fermented Tepache base. It's plant-based and gluten-free. It's clean label featuring recognizable ingredients. It's a lower calorie, low fat, and lower sugar beverage. Pineapple and floral flavors look to be big throughout 2020, and we wanted to demonstrate how almond milk can help to carry these trending flavors and ingredients. Other trends included here are turmeric, passion fruit, and tropical flavors. Fermented foods continue to be a prominent trend, and Tepache, which is a style fermented beverage, is an emerging trend. This demonstrates the versatility of almond milk and extends the perception of Tepache into new flavor avenues, creating a cross-functional beverage or a better for me type offering. Overall, we're seeing functional beverages especially resonate with younger consumers. This delivers elevated convenience with premium, fresh, and healthful flavors, all showcasing an easy sipping, any time of day almond milk beverage. Finally, the beverage has a strong visual appeal with eye-catching, natural soft yellow color, which translates to influencing consumer purchase behaviors. Let's show you how to prepare the ramen almond snack mix. But first, we wanted to share the inspiration on where the recipe came from. So, whole flavored almonds are, as you know, a volume driver, and flavored almonds and mixes and clusters are ripe for flavor innovation and edgier, yet still rooted in something mainstream product introductions. According to Innova Market Insights Global New Products Report, crunch is the top texture claim in snack launches with almonds. And the combination of whole almonds, ramen noodles, and the dehydrated vegetable sticks that we use ensures every bite has a notable crunch. For whole flavored almonds and snack mix cluster innovation, we like to look outside of the traditional snack category for inspiration. It's fun to take entree flavors or global favorites and transform them into a portable handheld almond snack. And if you remember, back in 2017, we developed Korean barbecue almonds, which were a big hit at IFT, and this led us to look for additional areas of Asian entrees to explore as Asian flavors continue to be on trend. And we've all enjoyed and have seen the comfort of ramen continue to grow and grow. And that made us think that our thoughts made the jump as to how can we replicate the flavors of high-quality restaurant-style bowl of ramen noodles with the approachability of ramen that we make at home. But now, of course, all in a handheld almond snack mix. So a lot of trial and error brought us to what we're showcasing for you today. Let's prepare our recipe. So we're going to be showcasing two almond forms, whole tamari flavored almonds and blanched almond flour. And this recipe is really about creating a plant-based snack that has a full, meaty, savory taste and really brings a unique approach. So we're going to walk you through the different stages. First, we're going to start by glazing the tamari almonds and walk you through how we glaze and flavor those. And then we're going to be doing a final coating where we actually flavor the almond with an almond using that blanched almond flour. So to get started, we have our hot nonstick pan. We're going to add 3 ingredients. The first to the pan, we're going to add honey. You can use a standard clover honey if you like. You know, this could be even made even more interesting if you wanted to add. There's a lot of different honey varietals out there. Orange blossom honey would work great for this ramen approach as well. And then next, we're going to add some unsalted butter. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And then the third ingredient that we're going to add is sriracha. So you've probably heard, Sriracha's been around for a while. It's still very on trend. You've heard of other things coming up like gochujang, even harissa paste that's come up. Any of these, if you want to do, I mean, the honey and butter are the critical elements. And then as far as sriracha, you could use that gochujang, harissa, your favorite hot sauce if you like. You could also use a dry spice, almost like a blackening spice, or even Cajun, or even any from any global cuisine spices. And what you're looking for is, you can see it starts to come up. We're going to bring this to a boil, and what you want to do is we can just stir a little bit, but not too much. You want the waters to evaporate from this, and we want this to cook down so it starts to thicken up. You also see this will start to caramelize just a little bit. You can see that beautiful color developing from the honey and sriracha. The butter really just kind of molds and melds those flavors out. The other thing, which you could smell this live if we were at the booth, the aromatics from this. You can get the garlic and the chili from that sriracha starting to come up. And we're going to speed things up for the nature of this demo and our time here allotment. But essentially, you're going to take this first stage here of just those three ingredients, the honey, the butter, sriracha, is 2 minutes. Then we're going to be adding our whole flavored almonds, in this case tamari flavored. That's 2 minutes. And then our two other flavorings, a final last minute. So 5 minutes total essentially is what you're looking for. So let's go ahead. That's coming up. Let's just say that was 2 minutes. And again, you want that, it'll start to get a little bit thickness to it. These are our whole flavored tamari almonds. What we selected these, let me just give this just a little stir there. We selected these because we wanted that soy sauce. So we went with that low sodium flavored whole almond. We wanted that soy flavor, because that's really inherent to one of the flavors that you get in ramen noodles when you get those. You could always easily, for this, you could use a straight up whole flavored almond, because when we're doing this glaze, it's like that roasting flavor. You're going to bring those natural flavor of the almonds out. You could look at other flavored almonds, perhaps even a wasabi flavored almond you could look at, or a orange flavored if you wanted to add a little bit of citrus to complement the spice that we originally put on that. So with this stage, this will be another 2 minutes. But essentially what you're looking for here during this stage, I'll let that sit just a second, is you want to see all the almonds get completely coated in the glaze. And you're also going to see that hue, that color start to deepen and develop. It's going to get that gorgeous color. The edges, if you notice, will be a little bit of browning. You don't want to get the temperature too hot because you don't want to burn it. Remember, these are benchtop prototypes. But you can also start to smell those flavors develop. Now I can really get that sweet, the spicy, the savory notes, a little bit of salty notes. So we're hitting almost all the 5 tastes. Now for this, our next, we're going to say that was 2 minutes. We're going to add our final 2 flavorings in the glazing stage. The first are dehydrated parsley flakes. And what that does, the parsley flakes replicate a lot of fresh herbs, scallions that you see in ramen, or you see even the fresh vegetable notes, or sprouts. And the other is dulse. Now, the dulse flakes, you say, what is dulse? Dulse is a beautiful seaweed. I believe it has a nickname as well called the bacon of the sea. Remember how we said we're going to take what is a plant-based recipe, but give it those meaty, savory, full richness notes where people are like, oh my God, that's so good. How did you do that? You turn this down just a little bit. Well, that seaweed, aside from being very on trend, especially in the plant-based world, it's a beautiful pairing with almonds. Almonds are really a great carrier for that seaweed flavor. And again, it adds that meaty and rich, meaty richness. So if you can here, you're going to see these are fully glazed. You see the beautiful parsley flakes, everything's adhered to it. That's what you want. You don't want any wetness. Notice there's no wetness in the pan. Everything's been absorbed from the almonds. We're going to turn that off. And as we go to our final step of flavoring our ramen almonds, what I would usually do is take these from the pan, spread them onto a sheet pan and spread them out and start to let that cool. That could, depending on the temperature in your development kitchen, could be 5 minutes or so. You don't want the honey and everything to harden up on these yet and firm up. What you're looking for is it to be not too hot where what we add next just kind of comes off and it clumps, but it'll be kind of sticky, tacky, that everything adheres and binds to it. So let's just, for time purposes, say that we spread that out, we cooled that out. Because the step after that, I would take that off the sheet pan and I would put those nuts into a mixing bowl. And from this mixing bowl, oh, you can smell those aromatics. From the mixing bowl, when these have been cooled, and again, they're that kind of just sticky, tacky stage, we're going to add our final two ingredients. The first is an umami powder, we're calling this. This is a mixture, there's some salt in here, but it's mainly comprised of ground mushroom powder and tomato powder. So that's going to bring in that fifth taste of umami, so sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami flavors. We have almost all working in this whole flavored almond snack. So we're going to add the umami powder, and then our second almond form, the blanched almond flour. What I love about this, we use this technique years back with the Brazilian coffee cocoa almonds, where we flavored an almond with an almond. So we're doing that again here. One that adds a great color to this, but it also, if you see here, it's adding that flavor. So you're going to get the richness, that beautiful, elegant almond as you bite into this and get that signature almond crunch. But right away off the top, aside from seeing the whole almond, you're going to get that visual, the white almond from the blanched almond flour. And what that does, it blends with that umami. So those first flavor hits you get are the almond and the umami. Then you bite into it, you get the saltiness of that tamari almond, and then I think you get slow back notes of the sriracha, the chili, and that starts to come up. But then since we glazed it in that honey butter, everything kind of washes out. It's not overpowering. It just continues to build. It's very enjoyable as you eat them. So with this, what I would do, I mix these. You can do like a panning process, even get gloves on with my hands. And I really start to get these so they turn into individual ramen almonds. And we have some of these right here in the front. So these are the individual, what that would look like. After those cool down, I put them back on a sheet pan, let them cool at room temperature so they start to harden up and have that signature almond crunch. So here is our ramen almonds. We're going to add these to a mixing bowl. And then our final step to create the ramen almond snack mix, we have simply dried ramen noodles. This is your ramen noodles before you cook them. They're dry. We crumble these up into small bite-sized bits. Then some dehydrated vegetable sticks. So you see the green beans, carrots, several varieties of sweet potato, taro root, just a gorgeous mix. We're going to add those together. Then what you're going to do, you're just going to stir these and mix these together. And that's what's going to create, as you see here in the front on our hero plate, the ramen almond snack mix. Now, one little quick side note as an extra little hint. So, snack mixes are becoming more and more prevalent and on trend, and we created what we think is a very fun and exciting flavor here. When we did that stage where we took the ramen almonds glazed off the pan, and we're going to do the sheet pan and put the umami powder and the blanched almond flour on there. What's another fun way to do? If you want to make like whole clusters, forgo that cooling down stage and put everything in together. And also your vegetable dehydrated sticks, you can break those up smaller, and the ramen noodles, and form those into clumps and let those clumps harden. And then what you have are ramen almond snack clusters. Here we decided we wanted to keep it free form. So for here we have the ramen almond snack mix. So gave you a lot of options today, big flavors, really fun execution. I love to see the idea how you take this and how you run with it. And that is how we prepare the ramen almond snack mix. The trends in almond innovation that the ramen almond snack mix taps into are: the ramen almonds build on the growing popularity of snack mixes and clusters, as this is a category ripe for innovation. It also showcases a delicious whole flavored almond, which adds to the intrigue. It's plant-based, it's clean label featuring recognizable ingredients. This snack mix incorporates many trending flavors and ingredients, including almonds, dulse flakes, which is a type of seaweed, honey, sriracha, and dehydrated vegetable sticks of green beans, carrots, taro, squash, and multiple sweet potatoes. Umami is another trend connection here, as this fifth taste is executed in the form of umami powder, a mushroom and tomato powder blend applied to the whole almonds. Replicating ramen was our inspiration, merging higher-end restaurant-style ramen with the approachability of a basic at-home ramen. This all creatively transforms beloved ramen into a now portable, handheld almond snack that consumers will crave. This is a prime example of how California almonds carry emerging flavors and create excitement with whole flavored almonds, in this case, starring in a snack mix. Finally, the snack mix delivers a fun, memorable experience with premium yet approachable snacking. That concludes our virtual culinary demonstration. All of our IFT recipes can be found on almonds.com, as well as an extensive and diverse collection of educational information. On behalf of the Almond Board of California, we thank you for joining us and sharing your time with us today. It's always a pleasure to share our passion, the versatility of almonds, and dive into the endless culinary creativity with all the variety of almond forms, with the hopes this sparks your new development and innovation. We're all about sharing ideas and look forward to chatting with you through IFT.